Hello everyone, I am back, like I said before. In this video, the intro is going to be short. I just want to say, thank you for watching. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. I will not be talking after the video of the meeting is over. So, and remember, like I said, this is an old meeting. I believe it was done on February 12th. Yes, it was done on February 12th of 2022. I believe it probably was yes, it was our second, I believe. It was our second unicameral session of 2022. Or I think in general. I don't remember anymore. I got it written down somewhere, probably on the website or something, but check that out too. Our website, subscribe to Nyx Delta Broadcast, all that stuff. Look up Queendom of Nyx on Facebook. It will pop up, I promise. Look up Queendom G on Twitter. All that stuff. We have a Patreon, but I'm confused on that too. I'm still new to it. I'm trying to figure that out. So I promise that'll be another way for us to get donations from y'all to help the cause out a little bit. We had a GoFundMe. It got canceled due to a lot of inactivity because we didn't. It's been there for about a year or two, and no one's donated since. So it was only $1,000. Like, we wanted that to be a confidence fund. You know what I'm saying? It's just $1,000. It goes straight to the treasury. It ain't going to me. It ain't going to the queen either. We don't want it. It goes straight into a storage box. So that's where the money was gonna go. But well, and it's how it is sometimes. We're trying our best. We do get donations. It's just difficult to get them sometimes. But anyways, I will not take up too much time. Just get this video over with and said and done and whatever. So yes, this is the Nyxi Unicameral Session of February 12, 2022. We'll be discussing, I think, about 3 or 4 bills. So the meeting will speak for itself. So let's begin the meeting, and you all have a wonderful Monday night, and enjoy the meeting. Or enjoy the video, really. Since the laptop's all the way up here. Alright, the second unicameral session of year 2022 is hereby in order. I am taking over as chairman for today, so my title will be chairman for the time being. The agenda today, well, first I'd like to say we do not have the Madam Chairwoman today. We do not have Senator Marcy Ellsworth today. We don't have Senator Herbert Davis again today. And we do not have our wonderful clerk today. So we're going to go as slow as possible to try to make sure everything's groovy with technical things and other things. So the agenda today, there's 4 agendas. House Bill 6, House Bill 7, Confederate Bill 3, and House Bill 9. Those are the 4 bills that have been assigned for today, and those are the ones we'll be discussing. I have managed to print out House Bill 6 on paper, so obviously since no one else is here but Minister Caitlin, she's the only one, me and her are the only ones with paper copies. Senator Ross, you can just look it up on nation states. So, alright, let's see. Alright, well, since just about all these bills are sponsored by me, I'm going to be in the testimony seat, and I'm going to have Minister Caitlin Ellsworth to preside over the meeting and handle the gavel. So while I do the testimony. All right. So, yep, that's what I'm going to do then. We're going to start with House Bill 6. So we'll do that in order. We're going to start with House Bill 6. Senator Ross, you can look it up too. we also have the paper copies of the temporary Constitution in case you see anything in the bills that we're talking about today violates any of it. So I'm just gonna leave this copy here because I don't really need it. All right, Mr. Caitlin, you have the gavel. Caitlin is now chairman for the time being. So Senator Ross, make sure you title her as such in case you have a question or whatever. All right. And as for me, I will take my Prime Minister title for testimony purposes. So I am Prime Minister in the testimony seat. All right, Chairman.
So, what are we starting off with?
House Bill 6.
House Bill 6 or this?
That's the Constitution.
Oh, this.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. So we are starting with House Bill 6, sponsored by, of course, Vice Chairman Austin Elsler, also Prime Minister. House Bill 6 legislates the prohibition of any and all forms of gerrymandering in all forms of elections and redistricting in the Queendom of Nyx.
Would you like me to explain my bill, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
House Bill is a bill for, it can really be both for the temporary Constitution and founding Constitution, but we're not worried about the founding Constitution right now. It's only for temporary Constitution. Obviously, in our current federal government system, we do not have political parties yet, but I'm sure as our population will get bigger in the future, they might exist. But it's pretty doubtful. Obviously, I hope they don't exist, but if they do, then they do. So, I mean, I can't really stop people from doing that. Now, it's like, what will political parties gain from just existing in the Queendom of Nyx in the temporary Constitution? Well, we have temporary counties. So, because the temporary counties exist, the local communities in those temporary counties can have their own political party, or elections, really. They can have their own elections, and if they have their own elections in there, then political parties might exist to try to take advantage of it for whatever political gain they might attempt to do. So, obviously, as of right now, there's no elected positions in the federal government, but in local governments, we're allowing them to have that. I mean, it's not in our power to prohibit that or anything. It's yeah. So, I mean, of course, you got Section 1. Once political parties exist in the Queendom of Nyx, they shall not fabricate their own districts within the counties of the Queendom of Nyx for political gain. So obviously, if they ever have a redistrict plan at all in any of the temporary counties, they can do it for political gain. Of course, that's hard to do when we can't read their minds and be like, hey, I know you're about to make that district all of your party. Don't do that. Well, we can't figure that out. Of course, you got Section 2 for all elections in local governments. If they decide to have representative districts, they must be content with the very first map they decide on to be the permanent districts for their counties. Once the decision is made and final, they can no longer change their districts unless by popular vote from the people of said district. So, if the counties make their own, say, representative districts for their communities, whether it's a county-wide government or a city government, they have districts. Whatever the first map is that they choose to have as their representative districts, they can no longer change it unless the people decide that it should be changed. So, like, say if the first map had a giant mushroom in the middle and the rest of it is just a bunch of circles around it, if that's what the districts look like in whatever county it is, and if people don't like it all because that giant mushroom's in the middle, then they all can have a popular vote to change the districts because they don't like the mushroom-looking district in the middle of their county or city. So that's basically that, and that will also destroy the risk of gerrymandering, because once they pick a map, they're not allowed to change it. And the only way to change it is to get the people to be on their side to change it. So that's the only way to do it. So you have to persuade everybody in your districts to change it. Or county, really. You have to go for the whole county, not just the district. So, and of course, I want to call this House bill, I want it to be titled Anti-Gerrymandering Act. Of course, because I'm definitely against gerrymandering. I don't believe political parties should have too much of a power at all as organizations in the Queendom of Nyx. I mean, we can allow them to exist, but I don't think they should be as powerful as they are now in our current country that we're trying to declare independence from. So that is House Bill 6.
This honestly is a very good idea. Like, I honestly agree with it. The only thing is that we're also humans. Some of us more clever than others. The only thing that I worry about is the fact that if they try to do it in secret, because there are many ways to hide any form of gerrymandering with words, and especially with way of wording and paper. But also, everybody really wears a mask in this world. Either that mask looks the same as their own face, or it's a completely different person. Any opinions? Senator Ross?
No.
Any questions?
No.
Alrighty. So we'll now call for a vote, as nobody has anything to say about it. Senator Ross?
Yay.
Prime Minister Austin?
Aye.
Aye. Minister, I cannot speak today. I am so sorry.
You don't have to call yourself out. You can just say aye yourself. Just say I vote aye.
I vote yay. So.
Or even that passes.
3 to 6.
Or the Anti-Gerrymandering Act, however you want to say it.
3 to 0 for the Anti-Gerrymandering Act.
Passes.
It passes.
Next, House Bill 7.
Okay.
Alright, now we have to get on our phones for this one.
Try to find it. You did send it to me. You did send it to me, right?
Well, Nyxi States. I mean, yeah, I sent it to you, but I don't know how far up the message it is.
Alright, I'll just go to the. I do not know how to work nation states. I never used it in my life.
You don't have to log in or anything. Just look for Queendom of Nyx or Nyx and Nyx territories, something like that.
Okay. So.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
You just click that. Look for the fact book symbol. It's like the one that's wider.
Alrighty.
It looks like a book. You just scroll down and look for hospital setting.
Alright, so once I'm here, click on the wait, so what was I supposed to click on once I opened it up?
There's supposed to be like a book symbol.
Book symbol, oh, I see it.
And then you scroll down the list and look for hospital setting or HB7.
Here it is. Alright, so I have it open. Yes.
Madam Chair, I would like to announce to the floor the title and sponsor of House Bill 7.
You may. I don't blame you.
All right. This is House Bill 7. The title of this House Bill 7 will declare that anything regarding helping the Queendom of Nyx by the government shall be spent from the Treasury, so the individual government employees do not have to pay their individual money to pay for items they may need for their roles. Sponsor, Vice Chairman Austin Whistler.
Mm-hmm. So, so from what I'm reading is for purposes of for the purpose of our roles, we can take some money from the Treasury as government officials.
Yep.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. Got it. Any questions, any opinions? Senator Ross, you got anything?
If I remember if I read that correctly, that should go both ways, in my opinion. For like things for the government, like say like there's like absolutely like no money in the Treasury, but we absolutely need it. I think for like that person would like it for the government. Let's say like a new flag for instance, my brain's not working today. Like flag or something, and we have no money in the Treasury for it. That person should should have to use their money until money is back in the Treasury. If you get what I'm trying to say.
No, I got it.
I mean, from my understanding of where like the money comes from with the Treasury, say like we were to.
Well, if I may, the only way for the Treasury to be touched at all is that the Queen has to authorize the Prime Minister to even unlock the Treasury, unless it's for putting money in. If it's putting money in, I don't need authorization because we're just putting money in. But to take money out, I need full authorization from the Queen to take money out at all. For the government to even spend any of that money, it has to be a government spending bill, which it is law. It has to be a government spending bill, so we have to make a new bill where it has to be a list of items, and then figure out the price of those items, and then that's how much money we spend from the Treasury. So that part is the procedure on how we take the money out is already passed. This part is to basically make, like, that's just the procedure on how to, basically how to, I think. That's basically the procedure on how to use it. This one is basically just to ensure that we only use the Treasury for government involved items, such as the flag, for government buildings only. Gavels, whether it's American made or Afghanistan made, since it is made out of wood, Afghanistan might be a good place to start, but that's another topic for another day. Whatever the government needs for anything the Nyxi government does, the Treasury money will be the one you spend. Now, obviously the unicameral will know how much money we have in the Treasury. It's on Nyx Delta Broadcast every week. So our Treasury right now is quite a bit of money, but obviously not a lot to get a lot of things we need. So obviously, if all the unicameral has to do is check out the money. If they don't believe that either we don't have enough money or it's too scary right now to spend this much money when we only had this much, or we don't have a flowing income or revenue of money going into the Treasury, and it'll be scary if we spend too much. So basically the whole unicameral is what stops the Treasury from being spent too much. And the unicameral, by law, is only allowed to spend money from the Treasury 3 times. So, and that's 3 times a year. So, and that's to protect the Treasury. So the unicameral is not allowed to spend a lot of money for whatever the government needs. So, and of course the Queen has to authorize the Prime Minister to even touch the Treasury anyway. So, but no, that's basically the thing of the bill. Yep.
All right. I was going to say something, but I didn't know if it would be a little off topic, because it did involve the Treasury, but it was about, for near future, how are we going to get the money to put in Treasury? Like, I know that we already established taxes and stuff.
Well, voluntary taxation, not really, and no one has signed up for it yet. But the Prime Minister plans on getting on that in the future.
Because the thing I was thinking was to figure out, in a way, mandatory bills that people kind of have to pay. Not like, of course, making it mandatory out of reason. I'm not sure what that reason could possibly be, but the reason I would think of it is so that way, in case something happens, as long as everybody's dedicated enough to pay what they are owed, it'll benefit not only us as government officials, but it'll benefit everybody else. it'll benefit everybody.
Well, there's two words of why mandating it won't work. One, people are not going to like it mandated. Two, enforcement, something we do not have, which I plan on having as Prime Minister. However, that requires money. So we can attempt to do voluntary tax. We can. Not only that, it's actually in our temporary constitution. We can't force people to tax anybody anyway.
I mean for the near future, really.
Well, I think in our founding constitution, the only tax that's allowed to be mandated is sales, but it's the percentage of it is so low that it'll be irrelevant in their life because of how low it is. That's how low it is. Like they'll pay it off in like a minute and then be like, huh, that's easy. But no, temporary constitution wise, we can mandate taxes. As Prime Minister, I'll try to hand out voluntary taxes to everybody. And we are going to make, it is actually a contract form. It's supposed to be a 1-year contract, but we need the enforcement. We don't have an enforcement to actually not only collect the taxes, but to make sure they do. So that part I am struggling to figure out. It's hard to figure out what to do there when you need money to do it. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I really have to say about it. I guess. Yes, Senator Ross.
Okay, I was holding my arm for like 2 minutes. Don't worry. Yeah, we theoretically right now, right? We don't have, or you per se, don't have the rights outside of the next government to mandate the whole thing, because the whole tax stuff, and there's no way of enforcing it right now because that's a lot of money in general, and that giving someone a Prius to go to someone's house and tell them they better pay up, yeah, that's pretty much impossible right now. But once said island is gotten, and for the people who live on the island, if they are not paying their taxes they said they were going to pay, only then would that be, I guess, in the rights of being able to arrest them or enforce it in general for them to pay their taxes.
Right. No, I gotcha. Arresting is probably we will not do, but yeah, no, we'll definitely put down the whatever the punishment will be if they don't pay taxes. Like I said, the only mandated tax in our founding constitution is just sales. So really only businesses are going to have taxes, but it's just going to be sales. So all their employees don't have to worry about income taxes. They don't have to worry about property taxes. People can afford anything they want. It's just sales. All the companies have to do is just pay the sales tax, and only that, the companies make enough money to build up their business, to pay their employees, to serve their fellow man on the island. So I mean, sales tax is the only thing mandated on the islands anyway. But there is not going to be any other form of taxation. Like there'll still be voluntary taxation on the islands. We just can't impose and mandate another type. So like, yeah, our voluntary taxation is basically whatever percent of income it is. While the sales tax, we just basically, yeah, sales tax wise, we take your money because that's the only thing that's mandated. But other than that, no, everything is voluntary. Temporary constitution wise, everything has to be voluntary because of the circumstances we're in. So, I mean, as a prime minister, I found a security company that might be interesting, but I don't know what their prices are. I haven't checked. And they're beautiful. Patrol cars, their decals on their cars are amazingly beautiful. I think they have their own lights too. That's really nice. It looks cool and everything. I just don't know. I don't know the pricing on it yet. So maybe that'll be our enforcement, which actually will be quite interesting because, like I said, as an independence movement in our current circumstance, we have to do what an organization does. We have to get private security. We have to have private contracts, and sometimes we might have to rely on U.S. law enforcement or U.S. judicial system. Now, in the me and you already discussed about it, so that's another topic of the day. But you already know what's gonna happen in the future. So yeah, private security, private contracts, probably borrow the U.S. judicial system other than our own for some cases, but obviously for taxation purposes. Because as far as I know, in the U.S. judicial system, if you made a legitimate contract with somebody, you actually have to abide by it. As far as I know, you actually have to abide by it, and there's a limit on the contract too. So just pay up until the year limit is up, and then you'll be okay. And if not, whatever the punishment is on the said contract, then the punishment will be given, whether it's by the U.S. law enforcement or our law enforcement. So
I don't think you would really want our law enforcement.
No. Even in the temporary constitution, I plan on giving us an actual law enforcement, but it'll be in the form of private security because that's all we can do.
Fair.
Because we don't have enough people to actually have a volunteer militia to be deputized as like a sheriff department to enforce our laws and everything. So yeah, that's about it on that one.
I see that Senator Ross has his hand up again. Yes, you may speak.
All right, now for that, having a private security company is going to be expensive in general.
I absolutely agree. I can already see it. It's like, wow, all that fancy stuff. I'm seeing over $10,000 already. So,
especially with fancy equipment like that, they're going to want pretty much a literal arm and a leg to even remotely be able to have them anywhere near the island or outside of the island in general.
right.
Because I've done research on this too. Not a lot, but still enough to know.
On the island, we plan on having actual law enforcement. So, but in our temporary constitution, our current circumstances, it'll have to be private security unless we get enough people to actually have our own sheriff's department, so to speak, other than private security. So as of right now, private security is our only best bet until we actually get volunteers to patrol all 9 counties. So
it would have to be on a volunteer basis, no matter who is what's what I'm looking for. It'd have to be a volunteer basis because Nyx won't have the money to even pay someone. Let's say it's $30,000 US dollars a year. That would be a full-time gig, but get a couple people to volunteer for it, even while they're like going down the road or have like an emergency contact thing. You wouldn't have to pay them; it would just be a voluntary basis thing. Now there would be definitely at least a couple people in here willing to, not like in this chat right now, but within the Nyx Nation, at least one person would be willing to do the whole sheriff thing. Especially it'd be more or less after the islands with a Z is bought. But with that, like with the islands being bought, that's kind of a given because realistically it would have to be the whole like Alaskan frontier thing. There's communities out in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, and it was on YouTube, not YouTube. It was on a TV series on Discovery or something. I can't remember what it was.
Alaska State Troopers, probably.
Probably was. And those actual troopers literally flew out to these places. They got on an ATV or snowmobile, depending on the weather, obviously, time of year, and really went out to these communities and enforced the law. Mm-hmm. When they went out to these communities, it was at least one volunteer as a volunteer sheriff.
Right.
For that.
Yeah. I think they call it a public officer or something like that. Yeah, I think they call it a public officer. Yeah.
And then if you want to buy islands, that would be something you would have to at least have one hired sheriff on, and then the rest of the people would have to police themselves, or
Right.
police, in a sense.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Depending on how big the population of the islands are going to be, that will be the depender on how much law enforcement will have. So, yeah.
A lot of it have to be like a cultural thing too. Like I said in the last meeting, it would all have to be cultural. We'll have to say cultures, and everybody.
Yeah, as soon as we get the islands, culture is going to change because not everybody lived on the island unless you're from Hawaii. And you're going to be in a subtropical environment. You're going to have constant storms. That will be a thing. So we'll probably have a lot of weather crisis in our island nation. I'm not going to be surprised about it, but at least we'll know how to prepare ourselves for it.
What state was it again? I forget where it was located.
The main island that we're trying to buy is off of North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, it's not as bad as Florida, but that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything about the storms and stuff, quite literally, we could probably ask 2 kinds of people that probably would know how to get past that. But anyway, seems like we got a little off topic. Actually, way off topic, really. Right now, we're focused on this one, which on House Bill 7. So since I'm assuming everybody has nothing else to say, Senator Ross?
Good.
Okay. In that case, we'll all have a vote. Senator Ross, yea or nay?
I say nay.
Prime Minister Austin?
Aye.
I say aye on this one. So House Bill 7 passes.
Madam Chair, permission to announce to announce Confederate Bill 3, title, note, and sponsor only. I'll wait for everybody to get the Confederate Bill 3. Confederate Bill 3, Senator Ross. Confederate Bill 3.
I hate it when this happens. Back to this.
Yeah, it's my problem with that one. I don't have that one.
I'm so glad we have an editor. So, this one?
You're on dispatch. You know, fact book is the book next to it.
Oh, okay.
Here you go. Confederate Bill 3.
Prime Minister Elsler.
He's speaking in turn.
Yeah, I really don't have that one.
Senator Ross. You are speaking out of turn. Wait. Better Bill 3, there you go. Alrighty. And for Prime Minister Austin, you do have my permission to read out title and note and sponsor.
So yes, Confederate Bill 3. Confederate Bill 3 involves how should the governments use the flag of the Confederation of Nyx and Baliga in meetings and for government building. Note, this bill must be sent to the legislatures of other Confederate states once it is passed by the Queendom of Nyx's unicameral. This bill can only officially pass as Confederate law if a 2/3 majority vote is reached in the entire Confederate Congress. Sponsor Representative Austin Nelsler from the Queendom of Nyx.
I can understand this one. We don't want to disrespect not only we don't really want to show any forms of disrespect. We want to respect our flag as much as possible. So and this is how I see it, as some way just a form of, I guess, showing respect, how the flag should be.
I mean, it's basically I won't lie to you, this is the same bill I tried to pass before and it failed. And I was actually given advice by some of you to make it a Confederate bill instead because it involves the Confederate flag. So, for viewers, I'm speaking to the viewers, the Confederate flag we're mentioning is for the Confederation of Nyx and Baliga. Put that on record. So yeah, it's for the Confederate flag that we're using. So it's basically a proposal to not just us, but to Baliga as well, because like the note says, it has to go to Baliga's parliament to see if they like the bill. If they want to put changes in it, they'll add on to it and they'll send it right back to us. So, so how we should use it? Section 1, the Confederate state governments should use it during all meetings, but as a separate flag. And it's to, oh, that's funny, I was actually told to change that part and I did not. Well, we just need to have the separate flag. So excuse the part where it says to the right of the superior government officer. I meant to change that. So excuse that one.
It is excused.
Yeah, I was told that regardless of what side it's on, it don't matter. But as long as we have the Confederate flag, it'll show that we're part of another nation, but we still keep our sovereignty as the Queendom of Nyx. So, and obviously, who does it apply to? Just us. It only applies to the Prime Minister. It applies to the unicameral. It applies to the Queen, maybe, and it applies to the Court of Ministers. It applies to all government-used buildings, whether it's an embassy, whether it's a whatever government building it is, even the palace itself. Sometimes, maybe that really depends on the Queen, actually. So yeah, and obviously individual properties and private businesses are not mandated to fly or have the Confederate flag. So they're not mandated to have these flags at all. If people want to fly the Queendom of Nyx flag, by God, fly the Queendom of Nyx flag. Okay, I prefer people to fly the Queendom of Nyx flag anyway. But if we're gonna be part of this Confederation, we gotta show people that we're part of it. So especially when we're dedicated enough to try to make it become a real thing as well. So yeah.
Not only that, but it would be beneficial to us on both sides.
Yeah, and it's just a procedure on how to use the flag and for government stuff.
Yeah, because the benefit is that, for one, it shows who is I guess in a way on our side, but also it gives credit to Baliga as well. So, any thoughts, opinions, questions, Senator Ross? You got anything?
Yeah. Trying to keep my phone from falling.
I don't think you got anything, do you?
No.
I don't got anything either. All right, we'll start a vote. Senator Ross.
I'm going to vote aye.
Prime Minister Austin.
Aye.
I vote aye. It is 3-0. It passes.
Madam Chair, permission to announce House Bill 9 to the floor, title and sponsor only. Welcome to the hot seat.
Permission granted.
All right. House Bill 9 will amend new legislative procedures, establishing 5 new titles for specifically made laws or additions to laws. Nyx Administrative Regulations, or NAR, Nyx Revised Statutes, or NRS, amendments in a form of adding on to an existing or pending bill, constitutional amendment, and House Joint Resolutions, HJR. Sponsor, Vice Chairman Austin Osler. You should give everyone time to read the whole thing.
Yeah. Has everybody finished reading?
Almost.
All right. If you don't mind, Senator Ross, I'm going to continue on. You can keep reading.
That's fine.
What was that?
That's fine.
Okay. So from what I've read, Prime Minister Austin is this bill ensures that everybody, that everybody is ensured to be safe, all rights, and everything. Am I correct?
Partially. I mean, I don't understand your statement.
At least from the first bit of what I'm reading. There are also parts of it where it also said to make sure that no loopholes or anything that could affect government and the lives of the people.
Yeah.
Which I completely understand that one. So from what I'm seeing and reading is that this bill is meant to mainly protect the government and the lives of the people. That's from certain laws that end up being that's from certain laws.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. You finished reading, Senator Ross?
I did.
Okay, good. Any thoughts, opinions, questions?
None at this time.
All right. Since I see that this bill is for us and the people, I see no problem with it. So I guess we'll start a vote. Senator Ross.
Aye.
Prime Minister Austin.
Aye.
I also vote aye. It passes 3-0.
All right. Madam Chair, permission to make an announcement.
You may.
All right. So, Madam Chair and Senator Ross, that was actually the entire agenda of today. We're only doing 4 House bills per meeting, so that was all 4. So thank you for taking consideration of my bills and passing them to the floor. That's appreciated. I was expecting some of them to not pass, but it passed. So I'm not complaining. What else is there? There was something else. I already lost my train of thought. I had a brain fart.
Okay.
Hopefully by the time the next meeting will be scheduled on February 26th of 2022. It is on a Saturday. It's a Saturday 2 weeks from now. So February 26th, 2022. So please put that on your calendars if you can. I am a little disappointed today that no one else can make it today, but everyone had reasons to be excused. As far as I know, only one of them is not excused today, but everyone else is. So thank you for considering my bills, my first 4 bills. I'm glad that one of them passed that I actually want to pass. So thank you all for that. Obviously, it's not passed into law yet because it has to go to the Court of Ministers. So hopefully I will be able to sign those into law when it comes to it. So, oh dear, I'm trying to think of what else is there. Man, there was something else and I keep forgetting what it was. Well, we had our first meeting at our first physical location. I mean, got the table set up, chairs set up. If everybody was here, it'd be a lot different. but we try our best. So, and of course, we had to have another unicameral member to actually preside over the chambers to handle the meeting, and she handled well. So, thank you, Madam Chair, for presiding over the unicameral in the place of the Queen and myself. Of course, because I have to be in a physical place, I actually have to be in the testimony seat, so I'm not allowed to have the gavel. So I have to be in the hot seat majority of the time. So hopefully in the next meeting, everybody will be here.
At least, hopefully the Queen.
Yeah, hopefully the Queen. So, but nothing we can do. The unicameral, we had a quorum. The unicameral majority passed everything majority. So, yep, everything is good. February 26th. Don't forget. And for whoever's watching Nyx Delta Broadcast, don't forget either.
Click the notification.
Yeah. I guess I might as well. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nyx Delta Broadcast. Click the bell so you can get the notifications. Like or dislike, comment or tell us to shut up. Either way, we'll take it. So please do that. And then, Madam Chair, I think we might be done for today. Are we going to adjourn? That requires a motion in a second.
All right. Well, since nobody has any other announcements to make, which also it is my pleasure for sitting here as chairman. Since everything passed, everything went smoothly. I call for a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Ask for a second.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right. Meeting adjourned.